Hey, welcome to the What's Your Vibe show. I'm so glad to be here with you again today. We're going to be here every Tuesday. Every Tuesday, we're going to be here. I can see some of you are hooking up already. We got some phones rolling already. That's what you do when you're live. You got the phones and start hanging out. Hey, there we are. Here we are.
Hey, everybody.
I have Christian Cardenas here today. He's going to help me bounce off on the vibration conversation and the energy conversation. So say hi. Say hey, guy.
Hello.
So we're going to talk a little bit about you today, too, right? What makes you vibe? So this is the What's Your Vibe show. My intention with this show is to actually bring in more conversations that have to do with reconnecting to yourself, your true self, and what that means. And today we're going to actually try to unpack that a little bit with somebody who's much younger than I am. Because we tend to have a lot of conversations like that, right? So Christian is my son.
Hello.
And your artist name is?
I go by Mowgli.
Yeah, and you could. Where could they find you? What are you up to?
The best place to find me right now is on Instagram at Mogzart, Mogezart. And yeah, that's probably where I'm most active right now. Got to work on the website and all that. So
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. And so one of the reasons I brought you on, is because we were having similar conversations about, what is this show going to be about? And I was trying to explain to him. Then we have. I think out of all four, you and I are the ones who have the most conversations that get a little deep about what that means.
Right.
Sometimes you're bringing something to me and I'm telling you, okay, so like, let's check it out. Let's check out what vibe are you on right now? Like, how are you feeling, right? Because our emotions pretty much tell us where we're at the moment. Right. Those are our indicators of where our state of mind is.
Yep.
Because for the most part, most people are running right now with our body leading our mind instead of our mind leading our body. And so I love having that conversation with you because you'll go back and forth with me about different
Yeah,
things.
because I'm pretty bad at it. So I got plenty of practice.
I think, but you're good. You're good at it because you are aware that this is happening with you, right?
Yeah, I get to watch it every time that it happens.
Right.
Oh, that's what that is again. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks
And how it ties into actually making sure you have a good diet and
Exactly.
So there's a lot of layers that go into this.
Very sensitive.
Right?
Yeah.
So talking about energy. So as far as like energy goes, I like to say that we're all made of energy. Everything carries energy, right? You can actually leave energy in a room.
Yes, ma'am.
You can walk into that energy.
Yep.
Right.
Hold your breath. You don't want walking out of people's energy.
Right.
A bunch of energy in the room. Start smelling.
Maybe it doesn't have to be good energy. It doesn't have to be, we don't have
Be
to
mindful.
label it.
Be responsible.
Yeah,
It's a PSA.
It's a PSA. Yeah, you are responsible for the energy you bring into the room.
Straight up.
Yeah. For reals, right?
Yeah,
That's
seriously.
for reals.
Dude.
And that's
in traffic, at the supermarket. Be aware.
Be aware.
Yeah.
Be aware. So we want to try to keep it in that mode where everything that we're going to talk about in the next hour, almost an hour, is going to be tied back into, like, if we can keep this conversation going and tie it back into vibration and energy,
Right.
and break that down, unpack it a little bit. I think we need a whole bunch of shows to just get different perspectives, but this is kind of fun. I think I like to do this.
I'm
So
excited.
one of the things that, just to bring some basics down, I follow a few people, and then so later on, I want to do kind of like also like start ending the show with, like, how Oprah does, like, my favorite things, some of my favorite things. I think I want to do something like that and put in some of my favorite things that I want to recommend for your toolbox
Okay.
on emotional wellness and things like that. So one of the things, I started off getting very interested in this because I follow Deepak Chopra and Wayne Dyer, and once you start going into that language of being aware of self, what real self-care is, starting from the emotional system, and being more open to that language, you start finding things that you attract: other people, all this language, beautiful sayings, And so then I always wanted to just have that more around me.
Hmm.
And so then you guys, because I have 4 kids, and so when I started doing this transition, I was one way for a long time, and then when I started being like, oh, maybe you should take a deep breath, and maybe see, my kids thought I was crazy. So yeah, it took a little while to transition
Serious.
into this other stuff.
No, for real.
But then as they matured, you found that some of the stuff that I was saying that seemed a little kooky was kind of like resonating with you.
Yeah.
I think you first, actually, out of all of them,
Yeah.
right?
And now I'm probably like the furthest down the rabbit hole in La La Land.
Well,
The
I think,
miracle of life and the
right.
secret. It's just having fun with me now.
Yeah, well, actually, that's true. It's kind of like an experiment, right?
Yeah.
But
Thanks, Mom.
you took it.
Yeah.
And I think because you're the one that's more like, well, I don't know if I should say it that way, but I feel like you're the more open one talking about how more spiritually connected you are, how more aware you are of how your feelings are, and that they can be all over the place, but you're more aware that you need to manage it, right?
I think I'm just the most sensitive
I think you
out
are.
of us.
Right.
I think they're going through the same similar thing because
Oh,
Alina and Andres are artists for sure. I mean, like,
yeah.
but like, I think I'm just the most
I think they're
sensitive. We were
less
kind of talking
vocal.
about this. Yeah, we were kind of talking about this on the way
Or
over
with
here.
me, I think they're less
Yeah,
vocal
yeah.
about it because it's like mom, really, kind of thing. So, oh, is that what we needed? Okay. So one of the things I wanted to bring up because I've been referring to this book lately more so is I found this cool lady who actually wrote a book called How to Raise Your Vibration,
Okay.
and it's by Sabrina Reber, and she has a lot of cool stuff on her. I don't know if you can see this, like, a lot of cool stuff on her Facebook. You can buy this book. I bought this way back when it was this form. Now she
Hmm.
has a book, like it's in a book form. So one of the things I wanted to read out of here is what that she starts off with is raising your vibration. So I kind of want to keep this like my basis to like keep the conversation going because
Hmm.
there's so many layers to our vibration.
Hmm.
And she put it in a really beautiful way where it says, your vibration is your divine signature, your soul essence. It is special only to you. Just as there are no two snowflakes alike, no two souls in the entire universe have the same name or soul signature. And I think that is so cool to keep as a thought process
Hmm.
when we're doing our day-to-day stuff.
Hmm.
When we get upset because someone is having their moment, and how does that relate to me? And I know that we're kind of all connected, but we don't have to be like in that kind of connection where we're instigating a vibe that really is not going to be helpful.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like, I don't know. Can you think of anything that, I mean, what were we talking about a little while ago? We had so many subjects that we were talking about.
We're talking about like, I think that goes back to, I think that goes back to like kind of chasing your tail or getting caught in a situation where you're depending on an outcome to make your outcome different. If
Right.
that makes sense. Or to like, if you're
Oh,
depending on objects outside of
outside of
yourself
yourself to make
to
your
make your
side
inside,
happy or
yeah.
feel
If you're
joy
depending
or
on things
happy or whatever.
outside of you to have the inside of you happy,
Hmm.
and pretty much everything that comes out of that, if you're trying to pick that battle, like good luck,
Well,
you know.
but if we're really conditioned, like if you're not aware that you're doing object referral, and I think I learned this through my training with the workshops that I do with Deepak Chopra, is he uses that language. So the object referral, like you said, we go to work and then we have coworkers maybe, and then it's like your day just goes to, you know,
Yeah,
it goes to crap
goes down the toilet.
because your coworker across the hallway is like having their moment.
Hmm.
But
And
why?
Sally ate the last donut.
And Sally, yeah, Sally ate the last donut,
Yeah.
so like my whole day goes to shit because I don't have that donut.
Hmm.
But it's like, so do I have to keep waiting for that person to change so that I can feel better? And that's the awareness that maybe some people are not in.
Yeah.
Because I really don't think that I'm going to say that I feel that from my experience, the American culture is a very competitive culture,
Hmm.
and it doesn't seem to teach right from the bat, like working from the inside out. It's
Right.
more like competitiveness just drives you to make sure that either you're on top of something or on top of someone, like better than someone else.
Win win win.
Win, win, win. And I don't know. I think that if when you have too much of that,
Hmm.
I'm not saying that competitiveness is
It's
bad,
bad. Yeah.
but if we never learned anything else, when the competition doesn't go very well, then what
Yeah. What
happens?
are you gonna fall
How
back on?
how are you going to feel?
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of more those conversations as we're growing up or parenting, even just for us. So,
Hmm.
so if I can't give or teach what I don't know or don't have,
Right.
right? So how are you going to know this if I didn't learn it,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
I think I've learned a lot of stuff
Hmm.
because, like I say all the time, I say you guys are my best teachers.
Hmm.
All of you are so different, and our conversations not light,
Right.
not light conversations, but
Right.
you guys really unpack a lot of things and put me in check when I'm not in alignment myself, right? So I think that's why we have a lot more of those things at home
We
going
got
on
a
at
little
home.
bit of mileage behind this. I think the harder, I think the more, I think vibration is a very subtle thing, you know? I don't think it's like, and I don't know if it's culturally, like you're not taught to think about it immediately, or if you're not taught to be aware of it immediately, but like, it's a fluid kind of thing. It's not like a one, you can't point at it and be like, yo, that's vibration. I mean, you could point at somebody who's having a really bad day and all these bad things are going on around them, and you could be like, oh, well, something about your vibe must be doing that, you know? But to somebody who's never really thought about it or who's never really
Hmm.
had to think about it, you know, or even wanted to, it's probably like you think it's this mystical thing, you know, that's like,
Well, just
that
the word
happens to
vibe.
you, you know, or
Yeah.
like something like that, you know, but like I think it's more of like, it's an awareness for sure. And I think it's tied into so many things that we take it for granted.
Right.
You know, everything is vibration. To me, everything is vibration. You know,
Hmm.
I'm an artist, so
Right.
you
And
know.
so I like to see, I really think that, when you're in that artist creative mode
Hmm.
and you know that you do your best work when you are actually more relaxed,
Right.
right? And so it really does have a lot to do with tying into that you are in a place, your whole body and your system
Hmm.
is in a place where that creativity can flow.
Right.
So the more stress, the more situations that we get really reactive with
Hmm.
versus responding with,
Hmm.
you can't come up with creativity, right?
Not at all.
And I'm not talking just like drawing or painting or music.
Yeah.
I'm talking whatever your art form is,
Right.
right?
If you're blocked, you're blocked. Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So
Or
what?
if you're in the stagnant, if you're stagnant, you're stagnant. You know. I think
Mm-hmm.
vibration is more. When I think of vibration, I think of movement. You know,
Yeah,
I think
because it's
of,
constant. It's like
yeah,
energy is
but
constant.
like even going back to what I was saying about like even identifying it or like what is vibration, I think it could be even on a scientific level. I just think more on a physical level when I'm thinking about vibration, just because it's probably like a safer route to go
Mhm.
if I'm gonna start trying to unpack this
Yeah, the
huge
vibration thing.
thing. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But like even even your body has a certain amount of vibration in it, and like all matter is vibrating at different frequencies, you know? So like, you know, the air is vibrating a lot faster than the solid, you know,
Cells.
material
It's
in
the
my
cellular.
body, you
Hmm.
know. So like that that same dynamic I think applies to me in like music, you know. Music is all vibrations, you
Hmm.
know. I deal with, like, I make hip hop music, but like even recording and stuff like that, you're just dealing with wave files. You're dealing with frequency waves
Hmm.
like all day. And the timing and like bigger ones, smaller ones making sure they stay out of each other's way.
But you have like
You know.
another language, right? Like you can feel it, you can hear it.
But that's what it comes back to. So
Yeah.
like even as a visual artist, all you're learning about is light, which is
Mm-hmm.
another vibration, which is
Right.
like a super high vibration,
Yeah.
and like it's everywhere. It pollutes everything. It's everywhere in this room.
Mm-hmm.
There's a green screen on the side of the wall, and it's like reflecting off my skin. And light is
But
the
you still look
language.
okay.
Yeah, and light is the language. It's a different
Right.
language. You know,
Right.
it's a language that you see it every day. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
like that's why probably people attest certain colors to like certain feelings. You know what I mean? Like
Oh
if you
yeah,
look
for
at
sure.
this, you
For sure.
probably attested to a certain feeling for you. I don't think there's a universal
Well,
way of vibes. You know
that
what I mean? I don't
translates
think there's a
into food.
universal like this is a good vibe and this is a bad vibe. I
No.
think you can tell
It's whatever
for
the vibe is
you,
you're
yeah,
receiving
whatever you
too.
decide it is,
Right, right,
you
right,
know.
right, right.
But
And it goes into food. Like
yeah,
recently I understood through like Ayurveda and food to medicine
right.
type of teachings that even the food and the color in the food,
Mhm.
like I understand that if you are like in a more like in a feeling like depressed and things like that, that if you cut up pineapple and orange,
Mhm.
it actually relates to like the sunburst of energy,
Mhm.
right? And if you actually went into the crystal, like people use crystal healing and
Mhm.
things like that, so crystals in your room and the colors,
Yeah.
you know, also do the same thing. They carry a certain vibration,
Yeah.
so they're enhancers.
Mhm.
And so food, when they're natural foods, they're also enhancers,
Mhm.
right? And so then you'll notice in your own self-care that you kind of draw to certain colors. Sometimes you need to wear certain colors. You
Right.
feel like wearing it's because it's something that's resonating with you.
Mhm.
And there's no right or wrong in that. That's
Not at
just
all.
your own vibe, right?
Mhm.
So I think I find that really like this is the kind of stuff I just want to keep talking about
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that I can keep understanding it too for myself
Yeah.
because it has a lot to do with self care,
Right.
right? And but it also is an awareness that some people,
Mhm.
and I've had this experience with my clients in my hypnotherapy sessions because I also do hypnotherapy, but I with an emphasis on stress reduction. So I always go back to like, okay, you're here for this, but let's go back a little bit and see what has been causing it. We need to know what the cause is,
Right.
and what kinds of things can you change up to raise that vibration,
Right.
right? And so I do that a lot with you,
Mhm.
right? And as an artist,
Yeah.
and I think like a house full of artists, there's so many different vibrations going on at home.
Lord, pray for you. Jeez.
Yeah, that we all have now come into that awareness, though, that we need to check ourselves, or sometimes we check each other,
Yeah.
but in a nicer way now.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that everybody's older, and we pass all this, yucky stuff. But I think it's important to talk about all the time.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
oh, one thing we were talking, what were we talking about? If we go back to that part where if we don't actually work on ourselves in this way, we won't create a foundation of being able to respond to more things versus react to more things, right?
Right.
Right now, I feel a lot of people, I feel a lot of people are very reactive to
Mhm.
like what's going on in the news and,
Mhm.
situations in the neighborhoods. And, I'm not saying that those things are not happening. I'm just saying that if we do the work for ourselves, that we end up having a stronger foundation as a community, maybe
Yeah.
even to be able to respond and find creative ways to have solutions
Right.
for things,
Right.
right? Like, I'm not going to wait for. Should I say? I don't even want to. Why do I even want to bring his name up? But
Uh,
I don't even want to wait. Why am
you
I
won't
going to
wait for
wait for?
other people.
Yeah, but why am I going to wait for
Other
Trump
people.
to get it together? And that's in my opinion. Okay, I am not. I don't support any of the thinking or the intentions of how this man came into office. But right now, when he screws up a lot of people at one time, especially through our healthcare system, because he needs to just get something passed, then I am not going to be waiting for this guy to get it together, with all due respect. For me to be happy, I need
Mhm.
to like this stuff is happening, but I'm
Right.
not going to rely on that to change the situation in our government
Right.
to change so that I can be happy. Because
Right.
the more I work on on being able to know how to get back into alignment,
Yeah.
I think that the better I can also serve
Mm-hmm.
as a community member.
Yep.
Do you know what I'm saying? And
Definitely.
as a mother and as a wife and as
Definitely.
a
But you're being
sister.
vigilant though. You
I'm
know? I
I'm
mean, because
trying to be, yeah.
you
That
want to be
I'm working on
vigilant.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
even right now when we brought it up, like the whole vibe of it just went you know what I mean? And then you got kind of neutral and then we had to just bring it back like, "Oh, but it's empowering. Don't worry about it. Things happen. We'll get through it."
Right. And all this stuff is hitting the
No, it's
fan.
sensitive.
How
I
are you
think
gonna
I
act?
think when you were mentioning it, it's like, we forget that I think okay, I should put it this way. If you are paying attention to these things, after a while, you start to realize that there's no logic, there's no method to this madness. I think there's universal laws that keep things the way they are
In
in
order.
order.
Thank
There's an
God.
order, but there's no meat. I don't think there's any like logic towards what's going to happen next and like it's kind of up to you to let go of certain things to move forward in the best way possible and to also look forward to things in
Right,
the
but that's
best way
also clearing that
possible.
vibration, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I really do truly believe that that the collective
Right.
can actually change this the motion of which way things are going. Because if like what's happening with the all the information and the news and all that input and the easy access, the alerts on our phone, and we keep getting all that in,
Right.
and that's raising a very reactive kind of vibration in ourselves. So collectively,
Hmm.
if there's very many people in this collective mode in that vibration and
Hmm.
they are in a reactive mode,
Right.
if that ends up being the collective
Hmm.
more so than the people who are actually being more aware that they want to work on their own vibrations so they can be more help, it's like I think that it's going to be like the moving train. When you have a moving train and that momentum and that vibration and it's going forward,
Hmm.
you can't step in front of it and expect it to stop.
Right.
Okay, it's just going to run right
Our
over
best
you,
not to get in front of
right?
that train.
Don't get in front of the train. What you got to do is, if we were actually working on that momentum and start clearing it up little by little, like you were
Yeah.
mentioning, they'd be more aware. First, be aware that
Yeah.
it actually is happening, but it really comes back to one self care,
Right.
one thing at a time.
Yeah, it's taking care of yourself. I think that's a lot to take in. And I think as people who become more practiced in trying to pay attention to these more sensitive kind of things that maybe not everybody else is paying attention to, I think innately, by nature, I think a lot of us are pretty much on the same page. I think we all feel a lot of the same feelings. I think we all go through a lot of the same reactions. Like, I think for me, being like in a generation that's like super connected,
I
I
mean, physically
definitely
connected
see
and
all that.
visually connected. Yeah.
Like, but even like with social media and all this
Well,
stuff,
that's what I'm
like,
talking. Yeah.
yeah, like, sure, a lot of it's negative, but our intention of getting on is just to stay connected,
Hmm.
and like whether shit's going shitty or not, I think that trend is going to continue. So there's certain things that are always going to be there.
Hmm.
I also, when I think about the world and like all these other things, I think it's more about like Susie's going that way, Bill's going that way, you're going this way. You know what I mean? And
Uh
all
huh.
you really can do is take responsibility for yourself at the end of the day.
Hmm.
If you really wanted to try to fix the world, it's going to hurt you like every day.
Yeah, it's
It's
way
going to
too big.
disappoint
And
you
no one by
every single
themselves can
day.
save the
Like,
world.
you
But you
know?
can save yourself and you're part of the world and that energy goes out.
Yeah, and
So
this that's not even in a bad way. It's more like
right,
what
right.
I'm trying to say is like these phenomenon that you're talking about, I think they all have their ups and downs and they all have their pros and cons. As easily as things are getting super negative right now,
Uh-huh.
we have all the capacity to make it as positive as we want it to. And it
Right.
very
Well,
well is.
that's a good point.
And
So
if I saw 5 cat memes today, and they made me laugh,
Hey, yeah,
then
that's
that's
like
like
a
hella positive.
yeah
You know,
endorphin
and if I
shot.
unfollowed everybody who wants to talk about politics, it's also positive.
So what
You
is
know what I mean?
okay? So let's bring it up a notch because it can get really deep. But so what kinds of things like I mean, you're a young person.
Hmm.
Hey, and I apologize for um, putting you in a millennial category because
It's
I know you
okay.
don't like categories.
I'll rep it for y'all. We're gonna go toe to toe right now. It's cool.
Because yeah, my he didn't want to be in a cat, but you know, but it's kind of like an eye catcher on my title. I wanted to just kind of get the attention of some other group that maybe I don't have out there, right?
Right.
So, anyways, so that's what that is. I'll correct it later. Change my title.
I mean,
But hey, how about to share some ideas of as you were being aware that this is happening, and I'm trying to, you know, communicate with you and other people also communicating with you about like, you know, you need to take care of yourself a little bit more, blah blah blah. What kind of things did worked for you?
I think I'm a very physical person, and in the sense of like I respond a lot to the physical reality that I'm in. So clearing out my room was like a big one.
Decluttering. Oh,
Yeah,
I love.
like
I'm gonna do a whole show on that. Decluttering.
letting go of like all this stuff from like my past and like getting into this mode of just like it's not the end of the world.
Hmm.
Get it out of here. You know,
But
life goes on.
so when
Like
you tell me when you touched something that you were considering removing,
right.
didn't it? Didn't you just like feel it again? You it triggered memories, it triggered
Yeah. I'm
emotions, it
so
triggered right,
sensitive. It's such a
right.
pain in the
And
ass,
and
dude.
that's not just you, but it really does mean that's why some people don't want to
But you
let go of
feel
it.
it and it's slow and it's and your vibe is like I wanna go no, you know? And you're like, but
But
I
you
gotta clean my room.
right, but you did it, and you did a lot.
Yeah.
Like I think you did a
I'm
whole.
still cleaning stuff up, dude. It finds its way, it seeds its way into everything. You start hiding stuff for yourself as you're cleaning.
It's
You're
like
like,
okay,
man,
maybe
this
not
I'll
this,
never get rid of this.
and then a week later you're like, why do I
And you
still
have a
have
whole
this?
box full of stuff that you're supposed to get rid of, that you're never gonna get rid of.
So decluttering was a big deal.
Big deal.
And
Big
it
deal.
was a big deal because I watched it.
Hmm.
You know, it's like everybody just move away. He's
That was a big
cleaning.
deal. Changing how I eat was a big deal. Um, I'm like,
Oh, yeah, changing how you
yeah.
eat. You want to say a little bit about
I
that?
mean, yeah. I'm like mostly vegetarian. I'm like 99.9% vegetarian. As in, like, I'll have like a plate of chicken, like, if I absolutely have to, because the world does not care if you're a vegetarian. Let me tell you.
Right.
But
Like at home.
yeah,
What? I don't. I'm
nor
not.
do any of your friends. None of your friends care. Okay, it's your choice. It's your personal choice. You take responsibility for it. I hope you eat today. But
But when you did that, you know, what was one of my concerns? Do you remember what I was telling you?
well, yeah,
Like,
it's a
where's
practice. Like you gotta make sure you're eating the right stuff.
right? But I
But
also was concerned that okay, are you reading a lot of stuff on things? Are you concerned? Are you? Is this coming from a fear base or place, or you know, because
right,
you went in and out about this for a while.
I think I just really wanted to ask myself.
I'm just gonna take this thing off.
I
It's
think I
bothering
really
me.
was just asking if like I think I got to a point where I was really asking myself like, do I really want this? Like, am I eating this because I really want to eat this? Or am I eating this because somebody gave it to me?
Mm.
You know what I mean? And that's it started more with like the McDonald's and like the
Yeah.
Burger King.
You
and,
guys
like,
really
all that,
cleared. We
really,
cleared out
honestly.
soda. We cleared out all this
Soda.
stuff.
I can't drink soda. I can't drink
Yeah.
none of that. You know? And like it really just came down to like, am I really naturally like, oh, I want to get a soda? Like, no. And like if I really thought about it, only when I was addicted to soda
Right.
was it
It-
really when I was like, I'm gonna go get a soda. You know what I mean? But like after all that, that was like in high school. But like now, if I'm really thinking about what I want to eat, like nah, like I don't really want to eat like a Big Mac. Like I don't
Right,
really
right.
want to eat like all that. I
So
still
that's
don't
part
get
of
me
the-
wrong.
That's part of decluttering.
I will mess up some In and Out grilled cheese and all
Yeah.
that. But like because
But-
I want to.
right,
You know
right.
what I mean?
But
Like
you want to. It's your choice still.
Yeah, yeah. And
But
I
you
think
know.
that's where it started. Was like and I just kept narrowing it down, and
I think
like
Alina was a big influence in
Yeah.
the house when she decided at
she influenced me
12,
for sure. Yeah.
I am not eating meat. And I was like, okay.
Hmm.
So then that started
Yeah.
the reasons. Okay, why are you guys not eating meat? Okay, what's going on here? Just let me know,
Yeah. And
type
I
of
think
thing.
that is more of like, so this comes back to vibration and everything. Like all that stuff's ever taught me is like flexibility, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like you really start to realize like, oh, there's this gap between like what I thought I was supposed to do and what I want to do.
Yes.
And anywhere in between that, if I could hit something in that, like I'll probably be pretty cool. You know, I'll probably be satisfied. Like, and your day to day little decisions, like, do I want a Big Mac or do I want like a torta?
Right. Right.
And I usually want
Let's
a
go
torta.
culture. Yeah, let's do the culture. But I think that all of us, like especially at home, uh, we kind of allowed for all that kind of growth to happen. Also, like I didn't tell you guys, no, you can't. But as a parent, I was to put my mom hat on. It's like, okay, so are you not eating this because you're afraid of something, or
Mm-hmm.
you feel like that might be a healthier choice for you? So that was the only thing that I
Right.
kept nagging all of you guys about,
Right.
because eventually, at one point, 3 out of 4 were vegetarian
Yeah.
for a while, and then whatever worked for your body or didn't work for your body, you guys started to learn that,
Yeah. I
right?
mean, same thing now. Like,
And that, I think that's
I'm
also
90, I
part of,
say I'm 99.9%
yeah.
because sometimes I'm like, I'm going to eat that.
Yeah.
And
That's
I'm like,
right.
I'm going to eat it.
But I think that ties back into the decluttering that you were doing as a personal journey for yourself. Like you were really doing that kind of stuff,
Right.
you know? Right?
Definitely.
What other things do you think worked for you?
So the room was one.
The decluttering,
Clearing the
right?
room was definitely a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Getting rid of so much stuff. It's like such a big thing because then your life, then you don't have, then you're bored because now you don't have anything in your room. But like,
Oh, you still have a lot of
no, I'm
stuff
just
in
kidding.
your
I pretty much broke it down to the basics, and then focusing on what I wanted to do. Was like it's like clearing out the clutter, and then working with what's left,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to make the best of like what I got. You know what I mean? And like, I mean, I got my setup at home. I got a
Yeah,
microphone. I
and
got
I like that we you can see now. You walk into your room, and it is about the stuff that you like to do.
just bare
You have
minimum.
your microphone. Your table set up so that you can record, and you are recording,
Yeah.
right? Where are you putting it? Anyways, are you putting it
A
out
lot of
yet?
it's on SoundCloud. I'm doing a lot of.
What's your handle on the SoundCloud
I go by
program?
Rysta Vibes
How do you
on
spell that?
SoundCloud. RYSTA VIBES. SoundCloud.com/Rysta Vibes. But yeah, it's a lot of hip hop
Vibe
stuff,
inspired.
vibe
Vibe
inspired.
inspired by mom, I think.
Yeah, all day.
And then, so that's pretty cool. So it really just went back to taking care of your immediate surroundings, making your environment feel better, things like
Hmm.
that. So
But it's
it
slow. It's
cleared up the
slow, and
energy
it's not.
too.
Yeah, it's not like immediate where you're like, oh, this is what I want to do, or like, oh, this is how I could do it better. Like it's a constant like, wow, really? Like it's more like doing, and then something happens and you turn around, you're like, really? Like I did that?
Yeah.
Like, all right, well, let me fine tune this a little bit because like I'm tired of that. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and I do that with art and music like all the time.
And
You
what
know?
about relationships? Like, we all end up, because we get older, we have different, um, sometimes we outgrow our friends.
Hmm.
I know that you've had those experiences, and those are tough times because you come into a realization, you know, where it's like, yeah, I really don't want to hang out like that anymore, or I don't want to spend my time like that,
Yeah.
because you start deciding which way to go.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, because I've spoken to a lot, some kids your age, and the transition of it, because there's no practice to this until you're actually in it,
Hmm.
right? Um, but how you think that you're keeping from doing more of repeat situations in your life that don't serve you? Have you noticed any of that stuff?
Yeah, and I would say I probably only noticed it really recently, and it becomes way more defined when you know what you're trying to do. I would say when I was floating around and I didn't know what I had to do,
Yeah.
you know, I had nothing to do. Like those things weren't bad for me if I had nothing to do. Like
Mm-hmm.
if I really think about it, like, and one thing I don't like, and I'll say this right now, because I hear a lot of people go like super extreme when they're talking about like cutting people out. And I have friends who tell me like, "Oh, it's okay to get rid of your friends, only if you replace them with new ones." My homie Jesse told me that one. Jesse, I know you're out there, but and I agree. I totally agree. But at the same time,
Well, not
I
really
think there's still.
replacing, but like
But that's the thing.
nurturing
So
new
like it
ones.
automatically becomes this like,
But you're
well, like if
nurturing
they
new
don't serve
ones.
me, then like, psh, girl,
Yeah, yeah.
you know what I mean? So like,
But you're nurturing new ones. I mean, the
yeah,
whole
but
thing
you
is
can still
like,
have compassion.
yeah.
And like I love my friends. I
Mm-hmm.
love all my friends, and like I don't chill with a lot of my friends because I'm more busy right now.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean I hate my friends.
Right.
And that doesn't mean I have to be like, oh, I never chill with so and so because they ain't doing what I'm doing, and like
Right.
they're not doing anything. Because like going back and forth, like Sally's going that way, I'm going this way, Jim's going that way. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? There's
Yeah,
no
yeah.
like that's the end goal. Like, and there's definitely no like my homies are coming with me to the finish line at my pace.
Right.
Because it's
Right.
like, man,
But then you
you
have that
know,
friend who is like all upset because hey, you don't call, you don't this, you don't that.
yeah.
You know,
And then
everybody
that's
has
a
that.
perfect opportunity to have this conversation and be like, man, this is where I'm at. So if you're gonna be mad about it,
Yeah.
I understand. I don't think people are not human, and people
Mm-hmm.
love each other underneath it all. We all love each other. And even if it's a toxic friendship or whatever, like, I think there's still at the very base of it, there's that want to connect at the very base of it,
Mm.
So, like,
Human nature. Yeah.
yeah, so,
Yeah.
like, you gotta enjoy that vibe too, because that
Yeah.
vibe doesn't come around very often,
Mm-hmm.
And, like, if you let go of that vibe, you feel heartbroken, you feel bad, you feel horrible. You know what I mean? So like, and sometimes you do have to take it to that. But I'm saying is like when it comes to clearing out friends and stuff, it's very, it's very hard for me to be on this level where I'm just like, you know what, I can't talk to you. You know what I
That's
mean?
not
Like,
you though. You're like
I
you're
mean, don't
you're
get me
really
wrong.
connecting.
I'm not saying I'm perfect, and like I've had my ups and downs with like being consumed by work and everything and not being in touch with everybody. But what I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about is like conscious decision of like I am not talking to this person because they don't do any like it only takes away from me. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Like I've definitely tried very hard to be like neutral, you know, at the very end, like if we absolutely has to be it's like neutral as opposed to negative.
Well,
You know what I
I
mean?
think
But like
because I hear you on the other end, like when there's a situation going on like that with your friends or whatever. Um, I think you're really trying to be unconditional to the situation. Like
yeah.
you don't want to project anything that you're doing with them. I mean, you've said that before. It's like, but it doesn't. You don't receive it in the same way sometimes.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
but you're very aware of that,
Yeah, but I
right?
think that comes back to like I only started doing that because I realized a what I wanted to really be doing, which is
Hmm.
like music and art, like 24/7,
Which is fabulous, by
which
the
is
way.
awesome,
You
you know.
are an
And it's
amazing
a
artist.
big like journey and vibration, and just watching your vibration all the time.
Oh, and
You know
thanks
what I
for
mean?
making that intro
Yeah, for
for
sure.
me. So that music was
Yeah,
something
yeah.
that he did for me too.
But yeah, I think it's unconditional because it's like I had to come to this place with myself was like way more unconditional, and you're just like, well, if you really wanted everything, like how bad you gonna do it? Like how bad? How far are you gonna take it? Like how
You're gonna
far?
dedicate
Yeah,
yourself to
how
yourself.
dedicated to this are you
Yeah,
gonna be? You
yeah.
know what I mean? And like if so and so doesn't like it because you didn't talk to them for a year because you were working your butt off doing exactly what you
Right,
love,
right.
then it'll fall. It'll fall to the wayside. You know,
Hmm.
it's never gonna be that. If I'm doing a part, the part of me, if I'm doing me first,
Hmm.
and this comes back to that object referral part of
Yeah.
everything. Your whole life will balance itself out after that if you're taking care of everything inside of here.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
And there's a thought I had about like, okay, so I think everybody has this experience with somebody in their life or something. Like you're moving ahead with the things that you decided you're going to do, and then it takes away from time from someone else that kind of expect you to be the same way most of the time,
right.
right? And then, like I've had that happen, and I realized, well, that's really what our relationship was
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time. It's not that it actually changed. It's just that I'm more aware of how it really is,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when one moves up and or moves around and does different things, you change the vibration of that relationship, and then sometimes it interrupts the thought
That
process
flow.
and that
Yeah.
flow for that person
Yeah.
too, because you're either not available,
Mm-hmm.
and that goes back to that where I'm telling you, like, you need to, like, when you're looking at somebody else saying you need to change so I can feel better, that's never going to work,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Anyways, I want to take a moment.
Okay.
I don't know if you're checking out your social media, but it looks like there were some people on our my Facebook thread. For instance, Anthony Rodriguez said that he says love watching him stand in his power. So, woohoo, all right,
What's up, Anthony?
yeah. Omar, arroz con leche.
What up,
What
arroz con leche?
what's up, homeboy? He says Lenny's on here, and Marty's on here,
What's up, Ty?
Jenny. Yeah, Miguel Franco, Henry Acosta. Hey, Henry. Andrea. Hey, she's my homegirl. You know, she tagged me. She calls me No.
No, no.
Yeah,
That's a
she
good
called
one.
me No. Because I'm on the show with her and the other ladies on Thursday, right? Just to have some fun with them. Ty's on here too. He's like, love the forum. Yolanda's on here. My
Hey,
cousin
thank you,
Yolanda. Mike Ibarra. Ooh, your tia's on
What up,
here.
Ben Flo?
Rosalinda Cardenas.
Hi, Tia.
Hey, Kiki's on here. It's like,
Man,
Macaria's on here. Hey, Macaria.
everybody watching.
So if
No
you have any
pressure.
questions for Christian, just put them on my Facebook. He'll probably put this on his. I guess if it turns out okay, maybe you'll spread it on
gosh.
your social media. You know, that might work for you.
I just got rid of Facebook on my on my cell phone. It was too addictive.
Oh my gosh, what time? How much time do we have? You know, this is live. Let's see.
45,
Oh,
45.
3:45. Come on, guys. If you guys have any questions, I think we covered a lot of stuff on a vibrational level. Is there? What else were we talking about? You know, if you have any questions, I can also do some housekeeping. Like, if you have any questions, you can send me questions to info@whatsyourvibeshow.com. This whole subject was because I did talk to somebody who sent me an email and wanted to know what my take was on vibration. So there's always different conversations about it, and we're going to have more on that. So this was one I wanted to bounce off of Christian because Christian and I usually have these kind of conversations. It's actually normal for us.
Yeah, this is nothing. This is like,
This is light, right?
yeah, it's pretty light.
I mean, we have all
I'm usually crying by
conversations.
now or something.
No, I don't want to make you cry though.
Yeah,
It's
that's cool.
No,
I have a special corner in the house where like. I
oh my
cry.
gosh, we do.
See, that's
It's
another
like,
thing about vibe too. Is like location. You know
Look-
what I mean?
I know that if
Location,
any one of
location.
my kids starts stepping into that corner in the kitchen while I'm trying to like clean up or do something, I'm like, oh,
It's
this is
time.
gonna be. It's like it's time
It's
to
the Dr.
talk.
Phil corner.
It's a Dr. Phil corner. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much how it works. But yeah, you know, you guys call us. Well, we're not taking calls yet, but maybe on the 5th or 6th show. But you know, send me an email or post it on Facebook. What things work for you? How do you raise your vibe? You know, what have you experienced as a parent, as a friend, as a sister, brother? You know, the older generation, the younger generation. I know that, you know, it's nobody gives us this textbook. You know, we have to come into a certain awareness for ourselves. I'm very grateful that I've had a journey where I did hang out. I can hang out with Deepak Chopra and his team and Punacha, and you know, have a lot of fun with that and bring resources to communities and things like that. And you know, just
And the reel keeps spinning, man.
yeah, it just keeps going. So the more I learn and the more I want to share, especially if it's not common to say like who the people I hang out with or whatever. You know, people are so down to earth, and when you have that, also I've noticed that the better I feel, and the what I put out there into the universe, I actually it comes back like simple when I don't really think about it.
Right.
You know, I don't know if anybody knows how. I know a lot of you already know that we are friends with Caesar Milan. I'm gonna see how much time we have for this. I don't know if I could tell this story. I'm all right, right? So
What time do we start?
we started at 3. We're going to be done at 4, right? Yeah. so, so I know that a lot of you know that are on my Facebook anyways right now that Tony and I are friends with, our whole family is friends with Caesar Milan and Jahira and their family. And the way that happened, this is part of my awareness that when you put things out in the universe and then you just don't really attach yourself to the outcome. This is one of my personal stories that I was watching Caesar way in the beginning when he first started his shows. And I saw a couple of them, like, I don't know if they were on Animal Planet. I don't remember where they were. Anyway, so I was watching, I'm like, oh, there was one show where he had his family on there, like he had kids. And I said, oh, you know what? And Tony was in the middle and city council actually putting together the animal task force for the city of LA.
Oh, right.
And I said to Tony, you know, you really should talk to him. I mean, he knows about dog behavior and the correlation between, you know, the energy that people
Yeah, you
bring.
want to talk about energy, man. That
Yeah.
dude knows energy.
He knows it. He's spot on.
Straight up.
So it was so funny because I said, look, you should meet this man, Caesar Milan. And Tony looked at me. So he turned around and looked at me. He's like, so you want me to meet that guy on TV? And I said, yeah, because you're in the middle of this stuff. He can probably be good for your research.
Yeah.
Right? He can be good for your research. And besides, when you actually meet with him, let him know that your wife wants to have dinner and go out to dinner with them and, you know,
kids.
blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah,
yeah.
and this and that. Anyway, so he's like, he rolls his eyes. He's like, okay, Norma, like, we're really going to, you know, pick somebody off the TV and then just have dinner with them. And I'm like, yeah, I think we can. I think we can. You know why? Because maybe, just maybe, you know,
It could happen.
it could happen.
Yeah.
So I said, there's nothing wrong with just giving them a phone call. But if you call, you know, like you call, maybe if you call from your office and you say, this is Councilman Tony Cardenas.
Kind of a big
And I'm
deal.
like, he's like, I'm not going to call like that. And I'm like, no. Okay. So if you call, you know, I think you need to call like, because you're going to call really to find out if he can help you with the research anyways.
Right.
Why not? Anyways, that's how it happened. So he makes a phone call. They connect him with Caesar's team and they make the phone call and Caesar's like, sure. So apparently from in that time at that point, he had never gotten his team has not gotten calls from politicians or, you know, they didn't even know what a city council member was. So it was so funny.
Wow.
And so then he accepted a meeting and they went and they talked about all this stuff. It turns out they were on the same page about educating the public and way back then. And it just vibed and we all connected and they're beautiful people and it was amazing. Amazing. So from that point on,
And you never know. And this is the same. Homeboy was like, with the eye rolling and yeah, right. And now
Right.
they're like best buds.
right.
For sure. Yeah.
And
Definitely really close to that.
and there's a
dynamic,
similar story about how I met Deepak Chopra. Same thing.
Yeah.
same kind of
Oh,
thing.
dude. No, honestly, you really want to talk about that? We're almost out. But like, that was the start of this whole thing. This whole
It was
thing
Deepak
started
Chopra's
because
fault.
of Deepak Chopra. I'm calling you out, man. Seriously. Like, I don't even know how old I was. Like 14? I was like 14 years old. And that's about the
Yeah.
time that I met Robert, which is this whole rabbit
Which
hole
is
of
a
like why I'm an
mentor of
artist now.
art.
Like, Robert's my
Yeah.
mentor. Ditch 66. You guys should really check his work out. He's really awesome. He's on fire right now. But yeah, like you brought home that like synchronicity like thing, and then we watched The Secret, and I was like, yeah, that's all cool and whatnot, you know.
Well, The Secret was kind of a thing to watch, but when I started learning from Deepak and
Right.
Wayne Dyer, it was more of the core information that was missing from The Secret,
Mm-hmm.
right? And which is that connection within ourselves and a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a little bit more on the materialistic side, The Secret type of thing, but it was like a huge boost for people to come into awareness,
Mm-hmm.
right, for themselves. So
Right.
everything's for a reason, right?
Exactly.
And that's like the beauty of this whole thing is that, and here we are. What did I say? I'm like,
Man, I'm
I
like
really
10
want to
years down the
do,
line now,
I
dude.
said, I
Yeah.
really want to try to do a radio show type of thing. And,
No,
me
it still
talking like that
happens.
at home, still my kids are like, okay, mom. But now what, right?
Oh, you're a natural. It's awesome. Yeah.
So coming into it, like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to attach myself
That's
to
how
any
it has to do
outcome.
it.
I just
Yeah.
want it to flow,
That's how it has to
right?
go.
So that's how we do it. So, what else are we going to talk? Oh, I was going to ask you, what was that wall that you worked on this last
Oh, we worked
weekend?
on the rainbow wall at Paul Smith,
Have you guys seen
LA.
that? Maybe we should post that somewhere.
You want to talk about vibes, man? Rainbow vibes.
Where
All over
was
the
that? Where
place.
was it?
That was off of Melrose. Let me get the address.
Yeah, because I saw a post. Like I didn't know that's what you were working on,
Mm-hmm.
and you had sent me a picture of what you were working on. And then later on, the next day, I saw a picture of Eric Garcetti, our mayor,
Mm-hmm.
speaking with that in the background. I'm like, oh my god, you were working
Yep.
on that wall the day before.
How's
So
it
that was pretty
going?
cool. That was pretty cool.
So that's at 8221 Melrose Avenue, Los Angeles. It's in West Hollywood. But yeah, that was like a really interesting job. It's
So
like
there's
24
also
hour.
another thing I wanted to share is your PSA that went national PSA when you were only what? How old were you?
I was like 17 years old.
17-year-old.
That was another part of the rabbit hole. That
Yeah,
was crazy.
that
Like
was
things
crazy.
just kept shooting in.
So the best part
Crazy.
about that is when we got a whole bunch of calls in the middle of a Laker game
Uh-huh.
that it actually played
Oh yeah.
as a commercial in the middle of a Laker game. And so that one, if you go to YouTube, it's on YouTube now.
Yeah.
You can go to YouTube and you type in mural
Mural 60.
mural 60, so you get the full, because some of them are cut up because
Yeah.
it's a PSA. But if you go mural 60, you'll see it's a PSA for
It's the Know How to Go campaign.
Know How to
So,
Go campaign. Yeah.
Know How to Go is about telling kids to aspire to go to college no matter what you're into. They chose me because I was into spray painting walls. And they were like, hey, you can go to college too. And I was like, really? And they're like, yeah, we'll put you in a commercial. If you could do it, anybody could do it. And so
They did it very well.
It was
That
really
was a
cool, though.
very cool
they were
experience.
cool people.
A
They were
whole
really cool
crew,
people.
like a real crew,
Yeah, it was
filming
awesome.
crew and stuff. And
Shout
that,
out to Man One.
Mhm.
He helped me get that
do you
one.
have any other ones that are out there that people can go check out?
Not yet.
No.
I say yet.
But I like your art, so we need to really promote that, and you need to put that out. So I have some friends who want access to some of your stuff, so we'll keep talking about that too. Now I have to keep the track of the time here too, because you know how it goes. You know how it goes. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna end it with that. We'll play a little bit of that music on the way out, so that we can do that too. And then, do you mind if I put some links up of your stuff on my Facebook so we can
Go
put
for
it out
go
there?
for it. Yeah.
Yeah, that one, and then
Put my Insta and my SoundCloud.
yeah. Okay, so I'll do that. I'll put that up on our stuff. You want to give a shout out to anybody while we're
Yeah,
out
shout out
here?
to my mother, my beautiful mother,
Thanks.
for giving birth to me. You know.
To give birth to it. Oh wait, I have to say it,
Yeah. If you,
right? You know, because we were joking around the other day, and then I said, yeah, I gave birth to a rapper. I can legitimately say I gave birth to a rapper. Actually, two rappers,
She
because your
could
brother
take
does
credit,
his own.
yeah.
Your
Does it
brother's-
work like that? If you have kids and they make stuff, can you take credit for it?
Yeah, I
'Cause you
think
made
so.
them?
I
No?
think so.
It doesn't
I
work
think
like
so.
that?
Why not? I'm gonna claim
Alright,
it.
for sure.
Yeah, I have look at the girls.
You're
what
like,
they're
you're my
doing.
walking art piece.
Yeah, you're my walking artist. I'm claiming it. I'm claiming it. All four of you. All four of you. That's for sure. That's fantastic. But I really want to thank you for coming and bouncing off of
course.
me. You know, that worked out
Thank you
really
for letting
well.
me be alive.
And be-
I think I
you know
owe
what I
one.
want to do? Why don't we do a series of this?
For sure.
You know?
I love it.
We'll be
so
like,
painless.
we'll
It's
have-
way more painless than I thought.
this is good. I think we should actually call it something, you know,
Yeah. I'll think of some cheesy
This won't be a
name.
mommy and me
The
type of thing.
Mama's Boy podcast, worldwide,
I think that's
international.
out there already, though. The Mama Boys
I don't
podcast.
know. We'll buy it off of them.
This will be it. But I'll be looking forward to having you back.
Of course.
All right.
Awesome. All the time.
Very cool. And then we'll maybe even give away some art.
Yeah, we could do some stuff like
Yeah,
that.
we'll figure it out how
Make
we
it
do
fun.
it. How we do it. So
Awesome.
we're gonna leave you with the same tune that we brought you in with. And does this have a name? Oh no.
No,
No.
there's not the name, man.
We have to figure it out. We have to figure out the name. I remember what you were naming.
There's a bunch of untitled stuff. No. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, let's just leave it at that. Yeah. Okay. This is uncensored. You would love to be in this forever. Cool. All right, guys. We'll see you. We're checking out. We're going to let you hear the music play.